It's a pleasure to have you here today. So basically we are going to continue with the schedule of the day. So now we are going to listen to the group number 4 in track 1. So I hope that you are having a good time in Euroweek. So we are almost done with the most critical part, which is Thursday. And then we can relax probably in some hours a little bit. Now, let me first introduce also people from the jury table. So we have some colleagues here helping us with the evaluation of your presentation. So we have Dimitrios from Greece, we have Matia from Sweden, we also have Lenka from Czech Republic, Marta from Austria, and myself, Cesar, from Colombia. Remember guys, you have 45 minutes for making your presentation. And after that, jury is going to get together to deliberate. You are going to leave the room, then I will go back to you and come together for listening some concepts. I hope you enjoy it. Yeah? Take it easy, enjoy it. We are so prepared, and now it's show time, guys. Very good.
Thanks.
Welcome everyone at our presentation about automotive sustainability. The purpose of our project was to answer the question, is the electric car the future innovative product? As you can see on our picture, electric cars are becoming more popular. Actually, this picture was taken 2 days ago at this campus. Of course, the name Euroweek which is added. But even here at the campus, you can find a charging station where you can charge your electric car. So at first, let me introduce our team. We were 5 to write our project. There is Nicolas from France. He studied mechanical engineering. My name is Karolina, and I'm from Poland, as well as my friend Ania, and we are studying international business. And this is Andrea from Norway, and she studied computer science. Unfortunately, we missed our friend from France, Manon, that also wrote a paper with us.
Right, so I would kindly ask you to take your smartphone and scan the QR code, or if you're having troubles, you can simply go to menti.com and put the following code in. So just take your time. Alright, can you please raise your hand if you correctly scan the code and you're in? Alright, I think the majority of you is in, so we can start with the first question that you see on your phone, which is, oh, you are already started answering. But just to make sure, in 1, 2 words, what comes to your mind when you think about electric cars? So I can see Tesla, innovation, battery, charging, sexy. All right, I'm very curious about that answer, but I'm not judging, of course. You can think what you want about it. And silence as well, very interesting. Fast, cheaper, lithium batteries, energy eco-friendly, new, greenwashing, all right, sustainability. Okay, yes, seems perfect. Okay, we're still getting more answers, perfect. So Elon Musk, Tesla, green and battery are the most popular answers, as I can see. Pollution as well, yeah, okay, good. So now we're gonna move on to the second question, which is, what is the average time of charging? What do you think it's gonna be? It's gonna be 30 minutes, 60 minutes, or 90 minutes? So think about it, choose the option that you think is best for you, and let's see what you think. All right, I see we're getting more and more responses with every minute. Okay, so far we have two votes for 30 minutes, 11 for 60 minutes, and 17 for 90 minutes, 18 for 90 minutes now. Okay, let's wait just more maybe. Or this is okay, I think it's not changing anymore. Alright, so the majority of you think that the average time of charging is 90 minutes. You're probably wondering what is the answer to that question. Well, we'll have to wait and we will mention it during our presentation. It can't be too easy. We can't give you the answer just yet, but just stay with us and you will find out about it. Okay, we're going to move to the next question, which is, I don't know if you remember from our pitch presentation, what was our catchphrase? Was it, electric cars are exactly what you think they are, electric cars are not what you think they are, or maybe was it, electric cars are the best? So take your time, one more time, and pick the answer that you think is going to be the right one. Alright, I think majority of you agree that it's electric cars are not what you think they are. There's one vote for electric cars are the best, 2 votes for electric cars are the best. Alright. Okay, so let's see what was the correct answer. Yes, majority of you were right. Our catchphrase was electric cars are not what you think they are. Thank you for the participation, and now we will move on with our presentation.
So here is our quick overview for our presentation. At first, we would like to tell you what is automotive sustainability embedded in the corporate social responsibility concept. Then we will tell you about the past state of the electric cars, what challenges the electric cars face, and what are the solutions and encouragement to actually buy electric cars. Then we will show you our survey analysis, and we will have at the end some questions to you. So at first I would like to explain you what is automotive sustainability. This concept refers to the ability of the automotive industry to achieve the present needs of the transportation without compromising the needs of the future generations. It requires collaboration between the manufacturers and processes, and it includes the usage of renewable sources of energy, minimizing the usage of water, and minimizing the greenhouse gas emissions. Some businesses use also lightweight materials and follow the sustainable business practices, such as maintaining the raw material ethically and just minimizing the air pollution. And electric cars have a lot of benefits that make them very attractive to promote automotive sustainability. First of all, they produce zero tailpipe emissions, especially when they are charged from the grid. And then they are also not dependent on the oil or other fossil fuels, which make them more resilient to price shocks of the oil. They also have fewer moving parts, which makes them they need less maintenance, and they tend to last longer. So actual number of the cars on the market is less than the traditional cars. And the last benefit is that they are much quieter than traditional cars, which reduces the noise pollution, especially in the urban areas, and provides the smoother driving experience for the drivers. And now Andrea will tell you something about the past.
So, I'm going to talk about the past state of sustainability in the electric car market industry 10 to 15 years ago. So, as you can see, we have split it into 2 parts, the negative and the positive. So, for the negative, a few years ago, 10 to 15 years ago, there were only a few options on the market. And because of this, it was quite expensive. And they had very limited performance. So consumers know they didn't want these. At the average cost of a battery back then, it was $115,000, $110,000.
On average, yes.
Yeah, on average.
But the prices changed, obviously, with the years. But the main point is that in the past it was quite expensive. Nowadays, the situation is a bit different. So, as you were saying.
So on average, it was 30 to 50 miles per car, per electric car. And you can think about if you are going to Berlin city center or the Alexander, I think it was the named Alexander Patz. I don't know if I'm saying that correct, sorry, I'm not sure. But, it would take roughly a little over an hour, and you are very lucky if you could get there. However, back then there was no charging stations, so it would be very hard to get your car back, to say so the least. But the positive, all of this changed when the government started investing. So the government, they want the incentives. They want to encourage the consumers to become more aware of the environmental impact. And in doing so, and most of them, created tax exemptions. And this really paid off, because the market skyrocketed back then. So, I got four countries, as examples. So Norway. Norway was one of the leading countries back in the day. It is still one of the leading countries. And they started as early as 1990. And the first thing they implemented was tax exemptions. And government wanted to do this so they can encourage the consumers to be more sustainable, friendly towards the environment. And already in 2014, 1% of all cars in Norway on the road were electric. Poland, however, they did not have any benefits. And because of this, it was quite expensive for a while. But in recent years, they have significantly increased. And there have been more availability in the market, so they are catching up. France is also part of the leading countries back in the day. They started as early in 2008. They implemented a bonus model system, and in other words, if you bought a car with low emission, you got a bonus. You either it got some benefit, or you have to pay less. And by malus, if you bought a car with high emission, you have to pay more or kind of get fined for the high emissions. And by doing this, by 2011 to 2014, the sale increased by 150%.
Thank you, Andrea. But electric cars are actually not only positives and benefits or advantages, they also have to face some challenges. The first one is about their batteries, because it's very difficult to recycle this battery, and it's not actually very environmental friendly. The other thing is the production of this battery, because this is very, very expensive. We still have our technologies undeveloped, so this also have impact for the on the price of the electric cars comparing with the traditional cars. And still, in some countries, governments do not encourage their citizens to buy these electric cars. They do not provide any incentives or subsidies for this type of the cars. The other problem is the limited range of some EVs and the anxiety of the drivers, especially during long journeys, because some countries do not have developed infrastructure and enough charging stations. And if we are talking about charging stations, it also takes time. You still don't know, because you are answering the question earlier, but we will know later how much exactly. But comparing to fill up the gas tank is much longer. And the last problem is the rapid overheating of the batteries, because it's very dangerous, and actually if they catch a fire, it's very difficult to cool them down. And now I will show you the example of the electric car fire in Poland. So some time ago there was, in the middle of nowhere in the woods, the electric Mercedes catch a fire, and it actually took 16 firefighting teams to cool it down. They had to put the car in the huge container filled up with water, and it took around 21 hours to cool it down completely.
Thanks, Karina. So I will be talking about a theoretical approach to sustainability in the automotive market. We will go through 4 main points. Of course, we couldn't focus ourselves only talking about electric vehicles and charging stations. So we will also be talking about autonomous vehicles and hydrogen cars. Those might be the solution, might be not, we don't know yet, but those could be solutions to sustainability in the automotive market. So, first one, I will be talking about range anxiety. So you may know that when you're owning UV, you need to charge it, and there's a fee of not finding a charging station when you're on the road. But the European nation passed a directive back in 2014 that every nation, part of the European nation, should and must develop alternative fuel infrastructures. This means developing charging infrastructures. Now we'll take a look at Norway's case, because Norway's, before 2014, had already this in mind. It started in the year 2000. Norway started, like the government policy, started to develop charging infrastructures. The goal of that was to develop Norway electric vehicle market, and as you can see on the graph, it worked pretty well. The more and more there were charging stations, the more people were buying UV and electric vehicle. But it's not every country's case, because we'll take a look at our Polish friends and what is the situation actually in Poland. So you can see on those two graphs, which are from the European Alternative Fuel Observatory, that actually in Norway there are around 15,000 charging stations. It's a lot. Now, I didn't show the actual results in France, because in France we have the same mindset than in Norway, but it's a slower development, but it's going. We're coming to you. Then, Norway, you can see, you can see that for Norway, actually there's only 2,000 charging stations. Oh, yeah, Poland, sorry. But you may ask, why? Why is this situation in Poland? I'll give the mic to Anna, because she will explain the reason why.
Thank you, Nicola. So, as he said before, the main problem is, of course, the infrastructure. However, I want you now to take a look at this map right here, which shows the net average monthly salary in Europe. And we circled 3 countries that we're coming from. So as you can see, in Norway, the net average monthly salary is over 3,000 euros. And in France, it's over 2,000 euros. Now, I want you to take a look at Poland. And yes, you see correctly, it is only 1,000 euros. So that's not a lot. So of course, the main problem in Poland is the infrastructure. However, the price is also a very important factor, because it's impossible to think about pursuing an electric car if you simply can't afford it. You're probably wondering why Poland has such a negative view towards electric cars, and you might be thinking that we're not doing enough to catch up with the rest of Europe. Well, actually, we're doing plenty. For example, if you look at the slide, we have Zera. Zera is a governmental project in Poland about the first electric car. And here on the picture you can see the prototype of the car. And you know what? Now that I'm looking at the picture, I don't know, Carolina, does it look familiar to you?
Yeah, actually I think that this picture was taken in our city, Katowice.
Yeah, exactly. So as you can see, those kind of projects can arrive even to your own city and Poland. So again, even though we're quite behind the rest of Europe, we're doing our best to catch up with the rest. And now, the floor is yours once again, Nicola.
Thank you, Karina, for those interesting facts about Poland. So we're coming back to charging infrastructures. You may remember in the beginning of the presentation, we asked you a question about charging time. So if I do remember, you could choose between 30 minutes, 60 minutes and 90 minutes. I mean, we kind of tricked you guys, I'm sorry. There's no correct answer, or maybe there's all correct. It depends actually. It depends on what's on the charging station, on the statue, and more on the performance and exactly specification. To answer this correctly, I'll be talking first of all about the different stages of charging station. So there's 3 stages. This first charging station, which we call private, so it's the one that you might have at home. Then there's semi-private charging station. It's the one that you may have at school or at corporate. And then there is the public charging station. So those are all around us, and those are the ones that you are actually paying for to use. Those are the ones that need to be developed in each country. Now let's talk about performance and specification. There's actually 3 levels of charging station. So the less powerful one, the level 1, can charge your car in, let's say, around 1 hour and 30 minutes. Level 2, around 1 hour. And then there's level 3, it's ultra-fast charging station. Those can charge your car in about 30 minutes, even less than 30 minutes. Now, let's talk about energy, because if your charging station is powered by, let's say, coal mine, then it's not really sustainable. So what we think is that those need to be powered by renewable energy, maybe wind turbines. If we combine stages, performance, and type of energy sources, thanks to a smart model, then we could obtain sustainability in the automotive market. Let's move on to autonomous vehicles. So you may have seen somewhere on the internet a video of someone sleeping while driving and the car still goes straight. Weird. It's because of newly developed autopilot like Tesla. So those may be a sustainable solution for the automotive industry because of better performances. What I mean by that is that autopilot reduces platinum and congestion. It reduces human mistakes on the road. It also increases fuel efficiency. You can see actually on the graph that the more UV your autonomous vehicle you have on the road, the less time you travel, of course. Then we will move to last but not least, hydrogen vehicles. So it is said that hydrogen vehicles are one of the cleanest options to maybe achieve sustainability in the automotive market. Now I want you to take a look at this picture. So this is from Paris. It's actually an hydrogen taxi, and in Paris we have a whole fleet of those. The advantage, like benefit of those, is that it's fast refueling. It's like conventional vehicles. It's between 3 to 5 minutes, but we still have problems because of development of engines and also hydrogen production, because it needs high pressure, and this is complicated. Now I'll give the mic back to Anna.
Thank you very much. Right, so now I actually want to ask you a question. What kind of car do you drive? So please raise your hand if you or your family member, for example, drive an electric car. All right, one person, okay. So just to make it formal, please raise your hand if you or your family member drive a petrol car. All right, I think the majority of you still uses petrol car. All right, that's very interesting result. And now we have another question to you. Do you prefer a petrol car or an electric car? Because what you use and what is your preference might be two completely different things. So please raise your hand if you prefer electric car. All right, we have more hands up now. So please raise your hand if you prefer petrol car. All right, I see that the majority of you still prefers a petrol car. Those are very interesting results, and we'll compare them in a moment with our respondents and their answers. So we actually asked these questions, and other questions to people from Poland, Norway, and France between 25th of March and 5th of April of 2023. And we got 198 respondents. That's quite a big number. Of course, we also got answers from people from different countries. But we had to exclude those responses from our survey because we only wanted to focus on people from our countries of origin. So, of course, it's once again Poland, France, and Norway. Right, so our research objective, as you can see, is to give an overview of public awareness concerning the automotive sustainability. And now, when it comes to the research methodology, of course, it is survey. It is also a research tool, which is a questionnaire with open questions, as well as statements assessed on a 7-point Likert scale. And we wanted to know what are the opinions about using electric vehicles across Europe. Also, to what extent people are convinced to use electric cars. And what are the disappointments and encouragements connected with using electric vehicles. So as you can see, sample of 198 respondents from 3 countries with different sustainability awareness. This is quite important because we come from different countries and the awareness about sustainability was very different. And the last but not least, quantitative methods to analyze data. Okay, so the results might actually surprise you. So as you can see here, we asked our respondents about the type of used car, so they could answer that they either use petrol car, hybrid car, or electric car. And as you can probably see already, Poland is quite different than the rest, because Poland is in the light blue, because 67% of Poles said that they use a petrol car. What is very interesting about this result is that if you take a look at Norway, which is grey, 95% said that they use electric car. So you can clearly see the difference between the mindset in Poland and in Norway. But actually, one of the most interesting and intriguing things that we found out thanks to our survey was the question of the sound, or to be more precise, the lack of it. Right, so here, in case you can't see it, I'm going to read the news to you. So we have electric cars, instant power delivery, low center of mass, variable power to each wheel, and then we have petrol cars. Make noise. Right. So as you can see, this was truly an interesting factor for us. And then another one, we have petrol car right here, and it says vroom vroom. And then we have electric car, and there is nothing. So to be perfectly honest, it was very interesting for us to find out about this, about the fact that sometimes the only reason why people would choose electric car or petrol car would be the noise or again the lack of it. There's of course another visible concern which was about the charging. It was mentioned before, but now let's see what our respondents said about it. Oh, there's another meme. So again, in case you can't read it, I'm just going to read it to you. If Apple made electric cars. I don't think I need to explain this one more because we all know what it is about. So now let's just move on to the question for you guys, because I'm curious what you would say if you were asked this question, which is, what do you think influenced the decision on buying an electric car? Is it maybe A, brand, B, price, C, infrastructure, or maybe is it D, environment and social responsibility? So please raise your hand if you think that the answer for this question is A, brand. Okay, we have some people there, thank you. And now please raise your hand if you think the answer for this question is B, price. All right, yeah, more of you, okay. And C, infrastructure. Okay, few people, thank you. And then D, environment and social responsibility. Okay, quite a lot of people as well. So I can see that you think that it's either D or B. So let's see what our respondents said about it. So as you can see, what was quite surprising for us was that brand only got 9%, and price was actually the factor that was the the most significant, because we have 53% of people who like that. Another important factor is what we mentioned before, which is basically the infrastructure availability in the current place of living, because we have 26% here. You guys thought that caring for environment, social responsibility was, one of those most common answers, but actually it was third here because, again, the price and the infrastructure were the main concerns. So now we asked them another question, because we were like, okay, if the price, because we thought if the price might be the problem, then what if they could afford it? So we asked them. And then the results might surprise you one more time, because if you look closely, Poland, of course, 79% of respondents said that no, they still wouldn't want to buy an electric car, even if they could afford it. You might be wondering why the numbers don't add up. It is because, as I mentioned before, we also got responses from people from different countries, but we had to exclude those because we wanted to focus only on France, Poland, and Norway. And if you look closely here in the yes part, France was actually quite, they were quite happy with this because it just shows that the main factor for French was the price. And now, Nicola, please continue.
Thanks. So now we'll take a look at what could be the alternative sustainability industry in the future, but through the corporate eyes, by studying their sustainability report. So we will start with Renault sustainability reports. What you can find in this report is that Renault has been pioneer in the electric vehicle and is also a leader in Europe for this kind of market. What they also say is that since 2005, they are taking serious engagement toward the environment by, for example, smart life cycle process. The last thing that you can find in their short report is 9 actions for the future. So this is quite a complex plan, but if you're interested in that, I invite you to read this report, which is on Renault Group website. Now moving on to that report, Tesla report. Tesla did a report which is about 140 pages. It's a pretty long report, believe me. So in this report, what stands out is environmentally friendly actions. Those actions are centered on better infrastructures, smart life cycle process, and also renewable energy, like solar city and solar panel. When we talk about Tesla's employees, the brand has taken a lot of actions toward its employees, like, for example, the higher pays and social benefits. Last but not least, consumer experience. So it is said that Tesla's cars are one of the safest cars on the market, and it has been proven through tests and indicators. Now I'll give the mic to Anna.
Thank you. So, conclusions. Of course, the levels of automotive sustainability vary across countries, as we could all see on our presentation. Prices and infrastructure are deciding determinants in EV purchase, and one more time, prices mostly for Norway and France, and infrastructure was the main point for Poland. The sum can actually make a difference, and last but not least, the perfect solution does not exist yet, because we believe that in this subject, when it comes to electric cars, you always find supporters and people who are going to be against it. And the perfect solution does not exist yet. However, we believe that together as society, we'll eventually get the right idea, and we will make the future even better thanks to development of technology, and of course thanks to the research that we do again together as society. So now, Carolina, please continue.
Thank you. So So at the end, we would like to conclude our presentation with this illustrative overview of our findings. We believe that the automotive sustainability can be achieved in the future, especially with the alternative energy, like renewable resources and lightweight materials. If the suppliers will use them, we think that it can be improved and will be the automotive industry can be sustainable.
So, policy and regulations. Many governments have implemented incentives. And this is so that we can choose sustainable transportation solutions and work towards a better future together.
And at the end, still some consumers do not have this basic knowledge about electric cars. So we believe that education and awareness for the consumers is very important for them to buy and to decide for electric cars. So now, if you have any questions for us, you are free to ask them.
So which cars do you use?
Yeah, we were voting with you, so we all use petrol cars, Andrea use electric one.
Well, I have a hybrid, Toyota hybrid.
Again, she's from Norway, so even here you can see the difference, right?
Yeah, but I think we all agree that we prefer electric cars,
Yes.
because they are good for the environment.
Yeah, again, as we said before, the whole concept is quite complex, and at the end of the day, you can have your own view about it, and our personal view is that we like electric cars, which might be not perfect yet, but we need to move towards the future, so it might be the best option for now. I don't think it is for us to decide, because again, everyone has their own view about it. Thank you for your question.
There is a question?
Yes, I know. So, because of the campaign for electric cars, there is a bigger demand in lithium, right? And according to Blue and spatial temporal patterns of lithium mining and environmental degradation, there is a drop becoming more common, for example, in Chile and so on. So the bigger demand, the bigger environmental disasters for commons of the mining of lithium. Also, Amnesty International said that the lithium mining is someone breaking the human rights. You are arguing that so if would you choose electric cars if you know that the lithium battery, the lithium demand is creating another problem, solving one but creating another one?
So to answer to you, Chris, I've been to a really interesting presentation about raw earth elements. You're talking about lithium, and which is raw earth elements, and CSA and like sustainability. During this presentation, they told us that those elements could be mined in a sustainable way. For example, in Norway and even in Sweden, without, as you say, having negative aspect on even the population, local population, on the environment, and even it's sustainable. It is. In the future it will be. Maybe now, okay, it is in China, but during this presentation, which was really interesting.
Yes, and also, as we said before, the perfect solution doesn't exist yet, but you have to try in order to get the better idea and improve more and more, right? It's like when children are learning how to walk, they're gonna fall eventually, right? And we might be falling here as well, but the important thing is to stand up again and just continue, and we just need to continue our research, and again, as we said before, eventually we hope that we can avoid all those environmental disasters in each part of the world, and we can create a good solution that everyone would be happy with.
Okay, thank you for explaining your
Thank you.
So, have you done
that's what we were saying also, that for electric cars to be for 100% sustainable, they need to be charged from the renewable sources, like solar power or wind power. So, like for now, of course, it's not.
If I add something, you'll find on our paper a lot of things about that, renewable energy, and smart models, as I have said, to reach sustainability when charging your car.
Yes, exactly. The main idea is that the solution is not perfect. We're not gonna get there if we don't use renewable sources, right? Like if we can use solar energy, then of course we can avoid other problems connected with fossil fuels. So we need to invest more into that, and then eventually we can just make it all better. But thank you for your question. And we have one more, please.
May I ask, in your opinion, what will be the impact of the nuclear deal
On the what? Can you repeat, please?
What will be the impact of the new Green Deal on the automotive industry? I can say in a couple words, but I don't know if you prefer to carry because of the Green Deal. It's that by year 2050 there will be zero emissions.
Yes, of course, the plans can be one thing, but reality always verifies such statements. So we'll see if this is actually going to be true or not, because it's very hard to predict exactly what's going to happen, especially if we talk about so many years into the future. For example, when we were preparing the paper, we were thinking about the European Union and the new
directive
yeah,
of the car ban on the petrol and diesel car by 2035.
Yeah, exactly. So step by step, even big institutions such as the European Union are trying to improve and to make those laws. And it's very hard to answer your question because it's so far away in the future. But again, we hope that with the time we'll get there and it's all gonna be good. But I thank you very much for your question.
Maybe last one question.
Do you think the situation will be the same in 3 years and the gap between Poland and Norway will be so big?
This is a very good question, actually. We believe that when it comes to Poland, the situation is going to change massively because, as we mentioned during our presentation, we are already having solutions. We're already trying to produce the first Polish electric car. So in 2-3 years, we can expect from Poland a better solution. And when it comes to other countries, it looks like both Norway and France are moving towards the right direction. So hopefully Poland will catch up shortly. And yes, I think
there are also more government subsidized and incentives from Polish government. So
exactly.
Even we can see that on the street are more electric cars now than it was 2 years ago.
All right, so just to finish it off, I hope you still remember our catchphrase, which is 3, 2, 1. Electric cars are not what you think they are. Thank you very much.
And I just would like to add that if you like our project, you are also invited to read our paper if you are still interested.
Thank you.
That thing.
Guys, thank you so much for your interesting presentation. And I can see that the audience enjoyed it. Well, thanks Auditorium for being present, for your interesting questions as well. So now we will kindly ask you to leave the room so the jury can